We're ready to begin, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I think the first thing we do is introducing ourselves. I am Jean Adamo, and I'm Councillor for Haringey Ward, and I chair the licensing subcommittee. So can I ask my colleagues, please, to introduce themselves?
Councillor Barbara Blake, Seven Sisters Ward.
And Councillor Luke Cawley-Harrison, Crouch End.
Excellent, thank you. And the officers, please, start with Miss Barrett or Mrs.
Chair, Dale Barrett, Haringey Licensing Team Leader.
Excellent. And we have the legal advisor.
Kumo Matthews, legal advisor to the committee.
Fiona Ray, Principal Committee Coordinator.
Thank you very much. Just to remind people that this meeting is being live streamed by the Council's website and will be available for public viewing. I don't believe we have any apologies, Fiona?
No apologies.
Urgent business again? No, I don't think so. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you. Declaration of interest? No, I can't see anybody. And then I will go through the summary of procedure. The procedure for the meeting has been emailed to all participants by the clerk. For the purpose of any members of the public watching, we will first hear from the licensing officer. After that, the objectors will present their case, and the committee and the applicants will have the opportunity to ask questions. Then the applicant will present their application, and the committee and objectors will have the opportunity to ask questions. All parties will then have the opportunity to sum up, and then the meeting will be concluded to allow the committee to deliberate and reach a decision. This decision will be provided in writing within 5 working days of this meeting. Excellent. Now, can I ask the licensing officer to introduce the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. Can we just finish off the introductions, please, just to make sure that for the recording that we know who is actually here.
Okay, yes.
So you've got Nashaba Shah.
Okay, hi.
You're on mute.
Hi, I'm Nashaba Shah. I'm the licensing officer.
Hello, welcome. Sometimes it's difficult if I don't see the cameras. I don't know who is here, who is not.
Do you want me to run through the names, Chair?
Yes, please.
I think so. We have Mark Broom.
Good evening. Mark Broom from 29 Holmesdale Road.
Hi. Hello.
And Simon West.
Hi there. Good evening. I'm from 33 Holmesdale Road.
And I think Margaret Bouchery.
That's right. Good evening.
I can't see.
Sorry, good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm here representing my husband, Christoph, as well. And I live at number 35, Holmesdale Road.
Okay.
And then we have the applicant, Dritton.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Dritton Hushi.
And finally, I think we have Tamara from Davina Kitchen.
Okay. Okay, Tamara. Okay, I can't see or I haven't heard anything. But anyway, welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming. Okay, over to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I'll take the committee through the report, therefore. So you have before you this evening an application for a new premises licence at Divinia Kitchen at 256 Archery Road, N6. The application submitted by Mr. Dritton Hushi is seeking the following licensable activities, and you'll see at section 1.1 the hours in which the particular activity is being sought. So you have regulated entertainment in the form of live music being sought, and the latest they're asking for would be the Thursday to Saturday through till 11. Recorded music, the latest there would be for the Friday to Saturday till 1 a.m. Late night refreshment, again, the latest there to 1 a.m. on a Friday and a Saturday. The supply of alcohol is obviously across the week, and the latest being 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. And the supply of alcohol is on the premises, for consumption on the premises only. The hours open to the public, the latest across there is again Friday and Saturday to 1 a.m. Representations have been received on this application from other persons, that's the residents and local ward councillors also, and also from responsible authorities. So you do have the licensing authority here this evening. In accordance with the regulations, therefore, this meeting has been required. You'll find the responsible authorities representations at Appendix 2. There is also representation from the noise team, from the, apologies there, it's got, sorry, not noise team, sorry, the planning team, and from building control team, in fact. And you'll find the representations relating to the residents at Appendix 3. The premises in question is situated along a parade of retail units with residential above. The premises has previously held a premises license under previous owner, and the location has undergone some different management throughout a period of time, and changes also to the layout of the restaurant and the type of restaurant that has been operated from this location. It's also apparent that there's been changes made to the rear garden at some point under previous owners, which was carried out without obtaining the correct planning permission. Complaints of noise has resulted from the use of this area, which has affected nearby neighbours. In terms of the application and it's how it was carried out, we can confirm that the applicants did put their notice up at the premises, and that there was the local newspaper notice also carried out. At section 3, you have there the considerations around what is relevant representations. And as you know, the committee are aware that representation deals with what is considered to be the likely impact if a license is granted. On page 3 on section 5, the applicant has offered within the application pack their operating schedule. I'm sure you would have, the panel has looked at it. The conditions offered there are not really enforceable conditions or things that can be used to be turned into conditions should you choose to grant this license. They're not really fit for purpose, to be honest. I should also draw the panel's attention to the representation submitted by their planning officer, which can be found on page 41. The planning officer is saying that obviously they have got some outstanding planning enforcement issues in relation to the rear yard, and also advised that in fact the hours of operation for this particular premises is actually in fact 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. across the week. You have also in the pack, Chair, the representation on page 40 from the building control officer. Now, it is concerning, obviously. The building control officer has visited, and he's saying that the plans are not reflective of the premises. The main entrance arrangements and the toilet configuration differ from those shown on the drawings. He's also listed a number of other issues there. I don't think the officer is on the call this evening, but clearly there is still further work to be done should the panel determine to grant this application this evening. And from a licensing perspective, we would want to see these things put right before the license is even put into use. So a condition may be around the license, even if it granted, not being able to be used until such time that these things have been established and carried out satisfactorily. In terms of the comments from the licensing officer, you have it at section 6 there. Again, they are the regular ones that you'll see. So where relevant representations are made, this authority will demand stricter conditions with regards to noise control in areas that have denser residential accommodation, but this will not limit opening hours without regard for the individual merits of the application. The authority will consider each application and work with the parties concerned to ensure that adequate noise control measures are in place. Any action taken to promote the licensing objectives will need to be appropriate and proportionate. Chair, if I continue on to point out on section 7, the options available to the committee on these matters. So the options available are to 1, grant the license subject to any conditions that are consistent with the operating schedule accompanying the application, or modifying those conditions offered as the authority thinks appropriate, or to exclude from the scope of the license any of the licensed activities to which the application relates, or to refuse to specify a person on the license as the premises supervisor, or to reject the application. Obviously, as the panel knows, we would always ask that good and thorough reasons are given for any decision made, and the matter will, of course, have a stay of 21 days should any appeal be lodged by any of the parties present here. Section 17 of the Crime and Disorder Act 1998 comes into play here, Chair, as does the Human Rights Act also. Chair, can I just clarify? So I know it's not usual for the panel to have the building control officers and so reps in these packs or even invited to these hearings, but it's been particularly difficult because we've not had much in the way of contact with the applicants since submitting this application. So there's been no real opportunity for any discussions with them or to try and sort out any of the matters raised, really, until we've all arrived here this evening, in fact, Chair. And Chair, there I'll end it if there's any questions that you have for me.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll take questions first from the members and councillors. Councillor Harrison.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Dale. I just wanted to just double check that the applicant here has taken over the premise is unrelated to the previous licence holder, and the things that have been evidenced in the pack, essentially it being open with people in the garden and alcohol sales, etc., that they're doing that without any form of license. It's not that they're doing that on a continuation of an existing license or anything.
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. They have been making or offering license for activities without benefit of a license. Warnings have been issued. The only reason that there's been no prosecution is that the out of hours officers have not of themselves witnessed the situation arising, hence why the council has not initiated a prosecution on this matter.
Thank you. Can I ask on the building control, as I understand they're not here, so I don't know if you can help. There is a number of, in fact, there are 23 different areas of concern, and some of them is to do with fire and signing and lighting. Could I ask, in the case of the concerns over this, would the fire brigade, for instance, will be asked to make an assessment of the building, or am I wrong completely?
Right. So how this normally works? So some of the things that the building control officer has mentioned here, we could make the case that it sits firmly under the public safety objective, and therefore the operator needs to ensure that they're carried out. any fire safety issues, the operator is required by law under the fire safety regulatory orders to have those things in place in any event. So we wouldn't duplicate on anything of that nature. But certainly, you know, as simple as it might seem, the fact that even as he's saying here, the door is in the wrong place or opening in the wrong direction, certainly then does curtail. Sorry, has Councillor Blake been not on the call?
No, she. Oh, I can't see her. Yeah, no.
Councillor Blake, can we just check how long you've been dropped out for, and we can't any information that you've missed.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. My computer just blanked out, so I don't know what's happened. It just got to the bit where Delia was talking about the planning consideration. So I think on page 40.
Right. Okay. All right. So
I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened. My
that's okay.
Just blacked out.
Yeah. Our apologies. We didn't realise that you had dropped out either, so we should have really have stopped the meeting. Sorry about that. Okay, just to recap in that sense then. So on page 41 was the planning officer's response, making clear that there are ongoing enforcement action in relation to the works that's been done in the back garden and the resulting change on that, and that the premises has planning permission to operate between 9 AM and 11 PM each day. We discussed the building control list of factors, and Councillor Adamy was just asking what we could actually be taking into consideration. The response being that some of it is public safety matters that we could rightly sit here under this committee, and some of it is fire safety regulation orders, which any license holder, any business owner is required to comply with by law in any event. So that's it. We had finished off the report, Chair, and pointed out that the conditions at point M of the application on page 24 were not factors that could be turned into enforceable conditions. So, you know, better conditions need to be thought up, and the committee is able to take note of that and consider what they feel is appropriate to be imposed should they determine to grant the license here. And I also mentioned that we've not had the benefit or the opportunity to have any engagement with the applicants throughout the 28 days process, or leading up to this meeting, in fact, because there was just little or no contact from them or engagement to come back on any of the representations made as well.
Thank you. Councillor Black, do you have any questions?
No, I don't, Chair. I'll just get my breath if I can.
Well, of course.
I got a bit hot and bothered by that, but if I've got any questions, if you could just bear with me and let me ask them, but I don't think I have at the moment.
No problem, no problem. Thank you. Can I ask if the applicant have any questions for the officer?
Yeah, sorry. As I was hearing the whole conversation from the beginning,
okay,
and I just have some question based on what evidence is saying that there has been selling alcohol without the license.
So, as I've said, Chair,
sorry, it's not Chair. It was me making the direct question.
I don't answer to you. I'm sorry, I'm not answering to you. Your question goes through the Chair and I answer back to the Chair. That's how it works.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Chair, the residents have supplied footage and also photographs of customers within the premises seated, having meals, alcohol being on table. You could argue that, you know, a wine glass may well be a glass of water, but there was also beer with labels on those bottles of beer also on the table in the photographs that were submitted. The website also for the restaurant is offering alcohol, and a price list, which is illegal when you do not have an authorization to do so. It is an offence under the law to actually offer alcohol in that way.
Okay. Do you have any other question?
Yeah, just respond to that. I would like to say that the license was issued for 2 weeks. Council is aware of that. We have evidence of that. Prior to that, we're not aware that the alcohol was being obviously provided to customers. As we all know, we've been in a lockdown and the restaurant was not open. And once the lockdown was lifted up, then the license was issued. So basically, that's where they start selling alcohol. Yeah.
Okay.
I just prior to that, you were saying that we have not have contact with the council. We have evidence that sending emails. I have evidence actually from since last year applying for the license and nobody replied back. So I have that evidence as well. We have evidence that we keep sending emails. The latest one was last month, which it was the end of last month. And I have those evidences as well, which is will be forwarded to whenever is required.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask if there are any questions from the objectors here? Indicate if you do have questions. Okay. If not, then I will move to the submitted presentations. Can I ask the licensing authority officer to speak over the report? Is Shah?
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. To summarise our representation, the licensing authority feels that the hours being applied for are excessive for premises that's in a residential area. The applicant has, again, this is just repeating, has not availed himself to be in communication with the licensing authority throughout the 28-day consultation process. Also, the applicant has failed to comply with our request to not offer alcohol sale at the premises when there is no license in place. The only reason he has not been prosecuted is because council officers haven't obtained the evidence themselves. However, as shown in the report, the residents have supplied pictures of customers consuming alcohol on the premises, or allegedly consuming alcohol, sorry. There have been a number of events and parties that have taken place at the restaurant, which have led to noise nuisance. The situation is worsened due to the use of the rear garden as part of the operation of the premises. We have been advised by planning that they do not have consent for. Our representation in the report shows that we propose restricted hours, and if the garden is to be permitted, that it should stop use at 9 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from members first? Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether you could just obviously come back on the contradiction. The licensing authority is suggesting no license was in place, and the applicant is suggesting that they had a license in place for 2 weeks. I'm unsure what a 2-week license would be. Perhaps if you could just confirm.
There was no license issued from our licensing authority or licensing team. No license has been applied for through our team, so I'm a little bit confused what she means by 2 weeks license. We don't have a license that will run for 2 weeks. Even a temporary event notice will only run for 7 days with a 24-hour break.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mrs. Barrett, you got your hand up? Do you want to come in?
Thank you, Chair. Can I just point out an error on page 37, please, Chair, of the licensing authority rep. So the hours open to the public on page 30, the Friday and Saturday, it should be 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. to stay in line with the planning permission already granted, which would then impact on the late night refreshment on the Friday and Saturday. So that would be removed entirely because the premises would be shut by 11 p.m. in any event. So there'd be no requirement for late night refreshment. And it would also impact on the potential time for the supply of alcohol, which should be pulled back by half an hour. So alcohol sales stopping at 10:30.
Thank you.
Can you just repeat those, Dale, so I can write them down?
Certainly. So the hours open to the public. So on a Friday and Saturday, that would be 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
The supply of alcohol on the Friday and Saturday will be 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And the late night refreshment on a Friday and a Saturday only would no longer be an issue, as they'd be shut by 11.
This is page 37, the representation by
The licensing authority.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Are there any more questions from members? No. Okay. Sorry, who spoke?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, when I say members, I mean the councillors.
Yeah.
First, and if there isn't any, then you have a right to ask questions. Please ask your question.
Yeah, there was spoken just now regarding the license for 2 weeks. As I said earlier, I do have evidence. They're basically they're saying that they don't issue the license for 2 weeks. So if the license came for the council from 2 weeks, I wonder where that came from. And I wonder if the person in a council doing their job properly, because we do have evidence, we have the license for 2 weeks, and I would like to send it to you to obviously prove the evidence.
This is very difficult because we are not in position to know what is correct, but I will imagine the officers will look into that.
Sorry, Chair, it's not difficult at all because
okay.
She wouldn't be able to submit it now in any event because it's raised evidence.
Yes.
And if it was something that they felt they needed to rely on, obviously they would have seen in the report that the allegations of, non-licensable activities was there in the report for all to see. Yes. So if they felt that that was something that they had evidence to produce, then before tonight would have been the right time to have produced that evidence.
Yes, I think you're quite correct there. Yeah. Okay, do you have any other questions?
Yes, sorry, Chair. As I said, we have sent emails before, and as I mentioned earlier, the last email was sent was towards end of last month, and we've been obviously replying to the council. So I don't know why this I don't know why this came up saying that this is the time that we have not provided evidence, we have not contacted council, and they have not provided those 2 guys alcohol license.
I think we heard you. All I could say is, we hear what you say, but we leave it at that, I think. Are there any more questions from you on the report from the licensing officer? If not, then I will ask the objectors if they have any questions. Somebody's put in a document, but I can't read it. I think it's Tamara. Mm-hmm. I can't read it. I don't know what it says. It was holding a document now. I don't know if anybody else know what it is. Okay, we'll leave it there. Are there any more questions from the objectors? No, okay. Building control, they're not here, but we got the report, and which we'll look at it and take into consideration. The officer from Planning Authority, I don't know if it's here. I don't think they are.
No, Chair, you have their documents in the pack.
Yeah. Yes, we do. And I read them all, and I'm sure my colleagues have as well. In that case, we go straight to the objectors. And I don't know who wants to go first. I have, let's see, Mark Siopa. Sorry, I'm not going to pronounce the names.
Siobhan, it's Irish. So.
Oh, Okay, Mark, are you ready to speak?
Sure. Yeah, not a problem. So firstly, thanks to Haringey for the opportunity to engage and outline our concerns on the matter. I believe we're also representing John Henry and Anna Leip at 27 Holmesdale Road. They asked us to speak on their behalf.
Okay.
So we strongly feel the application should be rejected in its current form because the nature of the locality means, as per the Haringey Statement of Licensing Policy, that these premises are not suitable at all really for use as a bar with recorded and live amplified music. So a couple of points that we would like to just note is the Haringey Statement of Licensing. It cites prevention of public nuisance as one of the 4 licensing objectives, and this is repeated again in section 8. So in paragraph 8.2, it states, protecting the public and local residents from noise nuisance is vitally important and should be a principal aim of everyone involved in licensing work. The second point that we'd like to cite is paragraph 16.10, location and other relevant considerations. It is stated that when considering new applications for licenses, a number of matters should be taken into account, including type and mix of premises in the local area, location and character, and physical suitability. And we believe that this awarding of this license would heavily contradict this policy, in particular these 2 points that we've outlined. To give a slightly more personal view of what we've been going through in Holmesdale Road, Holmesdale Road is a very quiet, a very residential and conservation area. We purchased our home just short of a couple of years ago and have renovated the gardens. And really our idea for moving here was to raise a family in a peaceful and quiet setting. And we've simply been unable to use that garden during times when Davina Kitchen are using the rear of their premises for music and guests / patrons. So we're sitting inside with the doors and windows closed due to the sheer volume of noise coming over the fence. We've had to move our 9-month-old child, a little boy called Jack, out of his nursery at the back of our house to the front of the house and back into our bedroom. So this is down, solely to the loud amplified music, the shouting, the cheering, etc., that we've endured from the rear garden of Davina. We initially selected the room at the back of the house to be his nursery, as it was peaceful and quiet, a safe space for our son to sort of rest and develop. Unfortunately, it's anything but peaceful and quiet when live, amplified music is being pumped through over our back fence. And he's still sleeping in our room. For this reason, we haven't moved him back due to the routine that we're trying to get him into. When COVID restrictions were lifted, we've had to, bring guests in from the garden or move ourselves in from the garden on nice sunny Saturdays or Sundays, as we literally couldn't hear each other. We couldn't actually hold a conversation because the music was that loud, the shouting, the cheering, etc. And this was, in the afternoon, it was in the evening. This wasn't at, 11 o'clock at night. This was, proper prime time for enjoying your garden during the sunlight. We raised a number of complaints about this loud music over the summer. And we've also, as a residents group, have sent a letter to the council with, I think there was probably another 5 or 6 households that signed from Holmesdale Road. And a visit was carried out by the council representative to Davina during one of the complaints we raised to turn down the music. The music was duly turned down, and shortly after that council representative left, it was turned back up again to its original volume. So it's also our understanding from what the council has stated in this call that the applicant was allegedly continuing to serve alcohol without appropriate licence. So it's this type of behaviour really that displays for us, the clear lack of respect for council policy, the laws, and also us as local residents in terms of how the premises have behaved over the summer period. And it's for these reasons that we have little faith in any assurances from the applicant concerning implementing measures to reduce noise disturbance. So for these reasons outlined, we have to object to this application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your report was very clear. I don't have any questions myself. Do my colleagues, councillors, do you have any questions? No. Okay. Can I ask if the applicant has any question?
Yeah, Tamara has raised her hand. Tamara?
Okay. She's not, the camera is not on. I didn't see her. Okay, Tamara? Do you have any questions, Tamara?
Tamara, we cannot hear you. You're mute.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
That's so good. Good evening to everybody, to everyone. I'm a new business partner for Divina. I'm half Brazilian and half Italian. That's why we started to join this business. For first step, I would like say really sorry to Mark and the neighbors, because I'm available all the time. I was there. I am in there to start something nice to everyone, for the neighbors as well. It's not I don't want to disturb anyone. So I got new projects for the kids as well, to do something different. And we have live music. And I received Jennifer from the council to see about the noises and everything. She showed me how the level we can keep it. And then we are keeping this level. I got picture. She's showing what we can do, what is not, and to see in future if neighbor continue, if disturb or not. And then for now, I can see it's continuing disturb.
Tamara, I hate to interrupt you, but at this point, all I want is questions. If you have questions to the Mark, and because you have opportunity after
all right,
to speak about the application.
Okay. Mark, why did you never try to come to us and maybe just say, look, like is too much, or you can just put down the volume or something like that?
I believe a number of fellow residents have tried to discuss or tried to talk over the fence. But to be honest, it's not really our place to come to you directly. We go to our local council, who we pay our our taxes to, and we look to the council to provide that service of managing noise and looking after us.
Okay,
I understand. I have to tell to you, we are here to help as well. Like, I don't want create nothing. I apologize. We create this. We arrive at this point, like everyone here to fix something we can fix together. Like definitely, we can find a good solution, and to keep the business, and you can live. You can enjoy your house as well.
Okay. Thank you, Tamara. Councillor Blake, you have a question?
Can I just explore a bit more, Mark, that you said you thought a number of residents had spoken over the fence, and that you're in a residents association, that there is a residents association, I assume an active one. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying about the council, although I read in the pack of papers, I don't know if it's from yourself, but there was criticism from objectors about the council's noise nuisance service, that they didn't feel that it was very good. So did the Residents Association ever formally make an approach to this restaurant to talk about it? Would you know that?
I think Residents Association might be a slightly grand term. It was a number of residents on the street that talked, and took action via WhatsApp group because we felt we had no alternative but to write a letter to the council to show our pain and our suffering over the summer with what we were having to endure. I am not aware of the, as in your words, the committee or the group of residents association actually going directly to the restaurant. I believe my understanding is that a number of residents have spoken to the restaurant individually. We did not speak to the restaurant individually.
Okay, thank you.
Right. If there are no other questions, I will ask, I believe, Simon West.
Hi, yes. Okay, yeah, I'd also like to thank the committee members for giving us the opportunity to address them. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my wife, Tasha. We also live on Holmesdale Road. It's a very quiet residential street behind Archway Road, comprising family houses with gardens. Davina's rear yard is located at the back of our garden, and we share a fence with them. Before they arrived, we had a very quiet and peaceful garden, but that's completely changed in the past few months. We've been exposed to loud concerts with amplified music and frequent shouting and screaming by guests who are drunk in their rear garden. This generally happens on weekend afternoons and evenings, sometimes until midnight. On these occasions, the noise makes the garden unusable. We can't sit outside and relax. We can't entertain friends or family. The music is both distracting and often so loud that it's difficult to have a conversation. We have to keep the windows at the back of the house closed to block out the noise, making it hard to sleep if it's hot. Effectively, we feel like prisoners are in our own home on these occasions. I would ask the committee to imagine how it feels on a hot summer weekend to be trapped inside the house with the back windows closed, enduring amplified music and drunken shouting right at the end of your garden. We want to also make it clear that this isn't just a problem that occurs at night. We've often heard loud music starting around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Together with the evening noise, that means we often can't enjoy the garden for a large portion of the weekend. We both have stressful jobs. This inability to relax on weekends is having an impact on our mental health. The root cause of all the noise issues is the fact that Davina has turned the outdoor rear yard into a beer garden. This is labelled seating area on the floor plan, but it doesn't show that it's actually outdoors. An outdoor bar in that location will inevitably cause a noise nuisance from loud customers and music, given that the yard is entirely surrounded by residences in close proximity. It must be emphasised that this is not a question of opening hours. It's just a completely inappropriate use of the outdoor area at any time of day. To quote Section 8.2 of Haringey's Statement of Licensing Policy, protecting local residents from noise nuisance is vitally important. Regarding Davina's application itself, there's no indication that the management has thought at all about the noise problem, let alone taken specific measures to counteract it. A generic statement of concern for local residents and a promise to keep noise to a minimum is hardly reassuring given their behaviour. They've apparently not undertaken any risk assessment for potential noise nuisances required under Section 20.2 of the Haringey policy, or taken any specific noise insulation measures listed in Section 20.12. We therefore feel very strongly that the application should be rejected and the outdoor beer garden shut down as soon as possible. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. I will take questions from councillors first, if there are any. Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, Simon. In regards to the backyard beer garden, as the business describes it, is that something that they have developed, or is that something that was already in place before they took over the premise, as far as you're aware? And was it in use prior to that?
Yeah, I believe it was in place, but we heard very little noise from it before, and really practically none. We've never complained about noise from there before Davina moved in, so it felt like a kind of, even if it was used, maybe it was very quiet restaurant noise, but we didn't really notice much.
Councillor Blake.
Well, I was going to ask just the same thing. So has the noise got worse recently? How long has this been going on?
It's been going on since April, around April. My wife says we've submitted 10 noise complaints to Haringey. I think the worst was during when it was very hot period. It was particularly bad. It was happening pretty much every weekend. I'm to be honest and say it hasn't happened quite as much recently. But yeah, there's maybe not in the past couple of weeks, but you know, before that it happens fairly often. Yeah, and
Okay,
in summer it was, you know, really every weekend and more than once.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the applicant to Simon? Questions, please. No speeches.
Yes. Simon, did you go to the restaurant regarding this noise? Because you mentioned that it affected obviously your weekend, and it affected your evening, your family, and you couldn't relax in your garden. As far as I'm aware, the garden at the back of the restaurant, that's not used for clients, that's used for staff only. And that means that if you have a look at it, it's such a small garden. So I wouldn't believe that such a loud noise that you're describing would have come from such a small garden, because their clients cannot go, customers cannot go there. It's only for the staff. Did you make any attempt to go to the restaurant yourself and speak with anybody?
No, we felt more comfortable going to the council and complaining to the noise department, and we know that they visited the restaurant.
So you haven't gone actually to the restaurant yourself
No.
and asked them to put the volume down of that music, or
Well,
ask the noise?
The council's asked them and they didn't do it, so I don't see what me asking them would do. In fact, we felt, you know, intimidated by, you know, the amount of noise, and going to a bar that's full of drunk people, you know, at 10 p.m. at night and asking them to turn it down isn't really something I felt comfortable doing.
Sorry, Chair, if I can ask Tamara to make comment to it as well, please, because she's the one that is at the restaurant.
At this point, I will take questions, no comments, because you have a chance to speak about your application after soon. So are they, has Tamara got a question? I can't see here, so.
Okay, I can do only question, or I can comment as well?
No, a question at this point, please.
All right. What's his name? Simon, did you see someone like drunk? Because you see drunk people, like I can recognize if I see someone like drunk people. And when
Just
you see
differing from the noise, we can't see into the garden. We can hear over the fence, and when you hear people screaming, you know,
like laughing,
incredibly loud shouting and screaming, then maybe they weren't drunk, but it doesn't really matter. The noise was, you know, they were making a huge amount.
So maybe they weren't drunk.
Well, I suspect they were, but the main issue here is the noise for us. That's what we want to, you know, that's what I'm complaining about.
So good point to see maybe sometimes just like screaming or laughing or
screaming, shouting,
and it's not drunk.
Like people are drunk.
Yeah, exactly. We don't keep drunk people in there.
Okay. Thank you. If there are no more questions to Simon, I will ask, I think I see Margaret. Yeah, Margaret, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you again to the chair and the committee for allowing us this opportunity to sit in this meeting. And I just wanted to echo what Mark and Simon have already covered in terms of the regulations, but in addition to that, we have our own concerns as well, which we put in our representation. And it's really the noise disturbances to date so far. The music that has been broadcast by the restaurant at live events is not properly contained within the premises. And as Mark and Simon have already said, it's very disruptive for the neighbouring residents, whether they're on Archway Road or on Holmesdale Road, and that's because it seems to be over amplified with an amplifier, so it resonates substantially, and yeah, it just makes it uncomfortable to be in your garden when it's so loud. Secondly, just a point that it seems that this is a historic issue. Just looking back at previous records, we've only moved here recently in January 2021, but we saw that complaints about the restaurant were made back in 1979. So it's a recurring issue that's crept up 40 years later, concerns with noise associated to this premises. And back in 40 years ago, there were other considerations like rodent population and the propagation of infestation.
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, can I just interrupt you? It's just
yes.
Just to focus on your representations in relation to the current application. I mean, rather than historic matters which don't necessarily relate to this particular applicant.
No.
Just to be fair to them.
No.
Sure.
Fair point. I think the reason was because they're in the papers we have. It goes back. I read all those papers as well, 1979. I will assume that's why Margaret is bringing. She's talking about it, but the officer is quite right. Let's concentrate for this license. And I realize the licensing officer wants to speak. I will come back to you, Shah, in a minute. Okay.
So if I'm allowed to continue the representation that we made, I made two specific points at the end of that. Really just on behalf of the families of Holmesdale Road. In particular, I'm a mother of a school child, and I know other parents are, and my concern is with these opening hours, and the fact even 9 p.m. for me during the week is very late. If you're publicising and broadcasting music, it will disrupt the sleep patterns of those school children, and it's a known fact that a sleep deprivation will have a detrimental effect to their development and their school life. So I'm here to represent those families and just voice that concern, which our school children can't be on this call for obvious reasons. So that's my concern there. And finally, the mental health issue that Simon's already alluded to. It's, during COVID, managing homeschooling and working from home, the demand for the house being a space for, trying to re-establish that work-life balance has become even greater due to this pandemic, and issues like such noise issues that have been represented today only can make that worse. So those are my concerns, and thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you. Before I ask if there are any questions to Margaret, I will bring in the licensing officer. I think she has her hand up. We may need to hear what she has to say before. Sean, are you here?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to clarify for the committee that I have checked the system and there were no temporary event notices applied for from this premises to carry out any licensable activity. Also, the question of how many noise complaints, I've had another check on the system and there have been 22 in total since May this year. There has been one written warning from the licensing team to the premises asking them to stop all licensable activity. And the licensing officer, Mr. Cohn, has engaged with the business on a number of occasions regarding these matters.
Thank you. It was very helpful. Thank you. Okay, are there any questions to Margaret? I will take first councillors if they have questions. No. Okay. Do the applicants have any questions to Margaret?
No, just basically keep repeating myself because I keep saying that
I will just take questions at the moment.
I do have evidence of the license and keep coming back saying there is no issue to license. And
listen, I will take your application next. let me deal with the questions first. Are there any, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, in that case, if there are no more questions, thank you. Then I will ask the applicants, now you are free to speak about your application. Who is going to speak, or of the two of you, or both of you, either anyway? Tamara got her hands up. Are you going to speak on for the application?
Yeah. I just would like to ask for. Sorry, say again. What did you say?
Well, now you have a chance to speak about your application for the license.
Right. So
go on when you're ready.
Right. About our application, we got the paper outside as well, the restaurant, and we was trying that. We just would like do the application to have we can work, keep the business as well. Like a lot of times it's quiet. The restaurant is very quiet. Like we had the live music for 2 hours. When we have the live music, I got the singer for 2 hours because that's the time for them. That's what I paid. And no more than 2 hours can sing, and is something to keep everyone like it. I got the others neighbors as well. All the time I'm asking for the neighbors, everything is okay, please come to us if you hear something. No, it's fine. All the time I hear that from our neighbors. The others come to our place to ask for the pizza, or come with kids as well. We want to do something in the restaurant, celebrate. We want to keep the business with this application and to share, and we can do you can have a good times with our neighbors. So we need the application to keep giving new experience, good times. We have moms comes with the kids as well, eating pizza or trying the Brazilian food. They enjoy, sometimes starting learn a new language. So it's something new to give more like just good moments for the community. So the application don't gonna go affect your life like.
Thank you, Tamara.
Okay.
Sorry, Chair, can I add?
No, you come in in 1 minute. I want to ask Mrs. Parody, you had your hand up. Is there anything you need to say before we carry on?
No, that's all right, Chair. We'll keep till the applicants have
finished. Then please carry on.
Yeah, thank you. First of it, I take everybody's complaint into consideration, and I apologize on behalf of the owner. I'm not the owner myself. However, I'm representing the owner because the English is not very good. I apologize on their behalf. This shouldn't be happening. However, we take this into consideration, in very serious consideration. This shouldn't be happening to affect people's day-to-day life, to affect people's mental health. Basically is something that should be worked on straight away. I believed, as I was told, that this was being handled enough, like responding to the council. However, it needs to be a little bit more acting a little bit quicker than neglected. Based on the pandemic, the owners themselves having such a financial difficulties, basically being on having loans and having overdrafts and basically not covering from their financial difficulties. So that affects their mental health as well. We have to take that into consideration as well. As a business owners, basically they have not made any profit apart from just loss. for the whole 2 years. And recently, that after the lockdown lift up, start the restaurant functioning again. Obviously, is all going on with these complaints because of the loud noise. I would like to say that if the license will be issued, the noise, obviously the noise would not disturb any neighbors or anybody, and definitely alcohol will not be sold without a license.
Okay, you finish?
Yes.
Chair, sorry to interrupt.
Thank you.
It's Fiona. We've just lost Councillor Blake again.
Oh,
So can we just take a brief pause?
Okay, yeah. Let me know when she's back.
I imagine it might be a couple of minutes based on last time, just to bear in mind. Hi, Chair, it's Fiona. So I have Councillor Blake on the phone with me here, so you'll be able to hear her and she'll be able to hear you. She can confirm that if you just want to confirm, Councillor Blake.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, that's
And
excellent.
just to check that you can hear her.
Thank you. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
perfect.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm really sorry, Chair. I'm having real connect problems this evening. I don't know what's happening. I apologise to everyone.
No need to apologize. These things do happen. That's fine. Delia, do you want to say anything before we carry on?
No, that's fine. I was just going to point the committee's attention to page 83, which contains some pictures taken by the residents that show purport to show beer and wine, and also beer and wine offer on the window of the establishment also, all at a time when it didn't have a licensed chair.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Jay. I have a number of questions for the applicant. I'll try and group them if possible. So if I can just start on the application itself. So if I'm reviewing what you have applied for, it appears that the majority of the request is for things to take place indoors. Now, if I'm reviewing the floor plan as shown on page 33, you refer to the garden area as a seating area, and were we not to, be told otherwise, the floor plan would indicate to us that that is an indoor area. So first of all, can I ask for you to confirm that rear, that you consider that an outdoor area, and that the application you are making is not to have any live music, I think, or amplified music, etc., to be taking place in that rear seating area?
May I respond, Chair?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, there is not an indoor area. There's mentioned there's a garden. It's such a small garden outside, but there's no customers allowed to go into the garden, and not live music played into the garden.
Okay, on that point then, as you raised it, we have evidence provided that you are advertising your garden. In fact, it says, come and enjoy garden, beer, wine, cocktails on the front of your premise. So why are you advertising that if patrons can't go in the garden?
No, customers are not allowed to go to the garden. Tamara, can you comment on that, please?
Yeah, was my, I just cancel after the I put and I cancel because we can do only inside, and they were waiting for, because we got the builder's gonna come to do the job outside, and then we can use after that. So I cancel, and then they stay on inside.
So it was used by patrons, is what you're saying, but then the council spoke to you about it and you stopped them using it.
I write and I cancel.
Okay, and since then it's only staff that have been using that. That's correct,
yeah.
Right? So in the case of the reported noise complaints that are occurring, I think perhaps it was Simon mentioned that they in some instances started at 3 p.m. and continued until midnight. In your view, those noise complaints are from staff making those noises in the garden, is it?
One day I received a call because we was outside the garden, and they say, "Oh, you are open." No, we was cleaning the restaurant, and then I was laughing as well, and then I talked to the phone. I don't know who, it maybe the neighbor, I don't know who was from the council, but I said, "No, we are just cleaning," and they was laughing. But I don't believe, like, if I laughing at the garden, you can hear at your home, like.
Okay, but I don't think
if you are outside, if you are next our garden, probably you can hear.
Okay, so the 22 noise complaints, it's your belief that they come from noise from inside the premise?
Sorry, say again, please.
The 22 noise complaints that we've heard about and the representations made by the residents, do you think that they've come from noise that's emanating from inside of the restaurant rather than from the garden?
And so 22 from same people or from who? Because, like, as I told you before, I was asking, I write a letter as well to send, I'm gonna send it to all neighbors and to say welcome, to say we are here and for everything. And then, like, it don't make sense 22, I can complain it 22 times by myself.
Can I interrupt for a moment? Triden said that she doesn't own the place. She was here to speak on the behalf of the owner because of the language problem the owner has. Doesn't speak a lot of English. And you, Tamara, I'm not quite sure who. I'm trying to make sure that you're able to answer the questions because you run in the place. You are there on the daily basis. Are you able to answer the questions? That's what I'm asking, basically. I'm trying to understand if you're able to answer the questions because you're there as a manager or regular, or in what capacity are you here apart from helping with the language? One of you can answer that, or both of you, please.
Sorry, Chair. Basically, I am representing the business owner because obviously lack of their English, and Tamara, yeah, and Tamara is at the restaurant every day, and she is a business partner, I believe, and she is the manager. So please, Tamara, if you can answer, if you can listen to the questions and answer them correctly, please, and straight to the point.
Thank you. Okay, carry on. Tamara,
I think I'll move on to a new question.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm just going to reference the licensing application, and as part of section M, it gives you the opportunity to describe the steps you intend to take to promote the 4 licensing objectives. Now, given that you have been contacted by a number of occasions by the noise team and enforcement team, there doesn't really seem to be any clear description there of any measures that you are going to take, particularly in respect to the prevention of public nuisance, but really, in fact, with the exception of Challenge 25, on any of the 4 licensing objectives. So perhaps you could confirm what, given the representations made tonight by the residents in particular, what actions you're going to take to ensure that we can trust you as business operators that you will adhere to the 4 licensing objectives beyond what has been put into the application.
Action will be taken with immediate effect. Basically taken, as I said, taken into consideration the neighbors' complaint and affecting their day-to-day life, affecting their life on their own home. So taking action, that means that there will not be loud music going forward. There will not be alcohol sold without license. And then obviously I believe that the hours were respected. However, to make sure that the restaurant is closed at the time that is being set.
Okay, but you have no plans for soundproofing or anything like that?
That is the plans. I do apologize as I'm not the business owner, but obviously I have the messages from them that yes, there will be for soundproofing for indoors. Customers are not allowed on the back garden. Customers should not go for any reason at the back garden. And for the customers that are smokers, they can go through the front door and not at the back garden. And yes, the soundproofing is in question, and there would be placed. The other thing is there will be a camera in place, which I believe is, but needs to be checked that is actually working and is functioning. So to make sure that check the camera all the time that there is not loud music at the premises.
Okay, and I think final question for now, if I may, just in regards to the selling of alcohol to date. I think at one point you said that you had been, or the premises had been in operation for 2 years. I'm taking that to mean it's been in operation for 2 years under the current ownership. Is that not the case? No.
No, it was 2 weeks, I believe. It was a very short period, and the certificate was put at the front door.
So when did the current owners take over?
They took over on March 2020. However, on March 2020, 23rd of March, it was a lockdown. The owners, they start basically negotiating for the business since November 2019. I apologize, it was October, I believe, September, October 2019. And they've been very unlucky because on March 2020, it was a lockdown. 3 days before that, they purchased, they went through all the paperwork.
Okay, and you've been operating, sorry, the owners have been operating as a restaurant without an alcohol license until when they put in an application,
because of the lockdown, they were not allowed, obviously, customers inside the doors, and they did not operate at the beginning. They start operating late June, and they only take away. And to be honest with you, it was not trading, barely trading at all.
Yeah, okay. So just on the question of alcohol then, you mentioned that you believed that you had a 2-week license. Obviously we can't, we can only take one person's word for it on one side and on the other side.
Yeah.
You believe you had a 2-week license, and that might have been when alcohol was being seen to be being sold. But obviously in the pack, we are seeing alcohol being advertised by your social media team from, well, the earliest one we have is the 12th of June, although there are some images that are not dated. And the latest is the 6th of August. So that's a 2-month window where you were advertising the sale of alcohol. Doing so knowingly without a license?
No, not selling alcohol without the license. I will obviously ask the owners, and I believe there were a very strict answer by them that no alcohol is to be sold without the license.
Okay, I think that's it for me.
But we need to look into it more into it more in detail and see that if alcohol has been sold without their permission.
Okay, well maybe they should have looked into it before now. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, but may I, before I bring you, Mrs. Baradin, can I say that one of the partners is here with us, and she could clarify the issue about the alcohol you just mentioned. And I also like to ask her as well on the built-in control. They have they have concerns listed from 1 to 23 areas of concerns. And some of them I think quite seriously. Can I ask if you are as you say you are a partner, why you haven't tried to address these issues or speak to building control and try to work with them? I don't know if you heard me. Have you heard me, Tamara?
Can you repeat, please? My internet is going.
Okay. As you are the partner, I'd like to ask you. First of all, I'd like you to comment about the issue of alcohol. My colleague earlier on put the question. But I also like to ask you about built-in control. Built-in control identified 23 areas of concerns. Some of them, in my, I personally think they're quite seriously for the safety issues. So can I ask you, as a partner, have you got in touch with building control? Have you spoken to them? Have you had any communications trying to turn it around to all the issues they have concerns with? To correct them, whether it's mistakes or whatever they need to be improved or whatever, address the issues.
It's cutting, but the line is cutting, but if I understand, like if we can control about the situation.
Built-in control, yeah.
Yeah, like we never had any bad situation or never had a bad customer.
No, you misunderstand me. You misunderstand me. Yeah, go on.
Let me change my internet.
This is not about customers making a complaint. This is about the premises themselves. Building control identifying 23 area concerns, to do with the building, to do with safety, with exit for sitting areas, the rest. You could see it's a long list. All I'm asking is simple. Have you had any communication with building control, try to address these issues? It's simple.
Sorry, Chair, can I reply to that?
Yes, well, if you are able, yes.
Yes, there were issues regarding actually the garden and the stairs where you go to the kitchen, because the kitchen is obviously underground. It's not even in the ground, and the restaurant is in the ground floor. So the stairs going to the kitchen, there is a plastic roof. So there was the complaint, and there was a complaint for a roof that is in the garden, in the small garden, and I believe the guy named Toby, the architect, has been dealing with it and sending the application for how to deal with it, with the issues.
I don't think you are aware of all the of all I'm talking about. Maybe those are additional concerns. Okay, I think I'll leave it at that. Are there any more questions? No.
Sorry, Fiona. Sorry to interrupt. We seem to have lost Tamara. I just want to check with. I think Dritton's in the background, the applicant. I'm sorry, I'm not aware who's got. What's the name of the person who has Dritton's phone?
Sorry, hello?
What was your name? Sorry.
My name is Elena.
And sorry, how do you spell that very quickly?
E-L-E-N-A.
So Elena, can we check with Dritton? Is he happy to continue without Tamara, or do we want to wait for Tamara to come back?
No, we can continue without Tamara.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, and you are?
Chair, can I just interrupt, please? I was just waiting for a moment to say to the committee that really and truly you do need to hear from Mr. Hushi, who is in fact the applicant himself, and you are able to direct questions to him and to ask him what his understanding is of the license that he has applied for. And I think what would also be helpful is that the responses, the representations that have been submitted by building control and so forth have all gone back to Mr. Hushi, as he is the named applicant and the named person for all the correspondence. So all the reps have gone to him. Mr. Hushi has been away on holiday throughout this period, and I believe that's why probably the ladies that are here representing for him this evening are not aware of some of the matters that you are now raising on the building control matters, because they've all gone to Mr. Hushi's inbox and he's been away on holiday.
Well, but I will assume somebody who comes to represent and the planning application is well briefed and informed, but I understand. Thank you for that. Okay.
And Chair, just to clarify also that the questions was asked around the alcohol sale, and obviously, unfortunately, Tamara's not on the call right now, but in the last few months, obviously, we've had COVID marshals and been making use of COVID marshals. And there is a report of a COVID marshal visit being carried out to the premises on April the 30th, where Tamara Alves was spoken to by a COVID marshal in situ. The officer noticed that alcohol on display at the premises and gave verbal words of advice to Miss Alves, and also advised her as to how to contact the licensing authority at the time to ensure that she put in an application was submitted for a premises license. So that was back in April, as I say, on April 30th.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, are the Fiona, are the applicants still with us, because I can't see them?
Yes, Mr. Britton is there.
Okay, in that case, I will ask if there are any questions to the applicants from the objectors. Please indicate. Mark.
Yeah, I would like to hear from Tamara. I know she's maybe not on the call, but it would be interesting to hear what residents that she actually reached out to and found that they didn't have a problem with the noise and they were very comfortable and happy with how the restaurant was being operated.
Or is Mr. Britton aware, as the license holder, as the applicant for the premises, is he aware and can answer this question?
Yeah, well, what we know from our side, we know we're just using alcohol when we have a application done, yeah? So this is what we know. So now what happened behind, I don't know, because I'm not all the time in the restaurant. So obviously I cannot answer this question to you.
Sorry, we're not hearing you clearly, Mr. Dr.
No, I was just about to say that. Could you repeat it, please?
Can Mrs. Elena speak on my behalf, please, because it's my English is not very well, sir.
The chair, would you be happy if I speak on his behalf?
Well, yes, as long as that's, make sure that's what he wants to say. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He was trying to say that he is not all the time at the restaurant and he's not aware of what's happening behind, obviously, when he's not there and what's happening at the restaurant at all the times.
Chair, I think Tamara has possibly just rejoined the call. I can see the little icon. If we can address the question to her.
Okay. I can't see any. Okay. I can't see any light on. I don't know. I can't
see. Chair. The question to Tamara was, is she aware of which residents approached her to say that they were happy with the operation and were not being disturbed or bothered by the operation of the premises?
Yes. Is she with us? Can she respond to that? Is she still here?
She's showing as being on the call, but she will need to unmute herself in order to speak.
Okay. We give her a few minutes, not a few minutes.
Chair, Councillor Blake has a question. If you're taking questions from members.
Yes, I think we may as well take we take the question. Yeah, Barbara. Yeah.
Chair, thank you. So what I'm not clear about is who actually manages the day-to-day? Who actually is the restaurant, the bar, every day, and who manages it? I'm not clear about that.
I agree with you. I asked something similar earlier on. Who? Yes. Yes. I don't. Okay. Can somebody respond to that, please?
Yes, Chair. So what we are being told this evening on this meeting, so you have Mr. Hushi here, who is in fact the applicant, and should you choose to grant the license, he would then be the license holder. He has his colleague Eleanor, who is speaking on his behalf this evening, as he's saying that he has difficulty with English. And Tamara has been put forward as the manager at the venue. And that would certainly tie in with the fact that officers have spoken to Tamara at the venue when they have previously visited back in April.
Okay. I think we are a bit stuck at the moment. Can I ask if the applicants are still with us? Is there can they answer the last couple of questions? If not, we move on, I think.
Yes, yeah. You're still here?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I can't see you, and I don't know whether you are ready to speak or not.
Yeah, can we, obviously, can we hear the question, please? Because we haven't heard the question. It was a disconnection, I believe.
Right, okay.
That's why we're waiting for the question.
Okay, Councillor Blake asked one question: who does the day-to-day running? Who is the manager? Who is responsible?
Yeah.
It wasn't clear to her.
Okay, yes, sorry, we didn't hear that question. That's okay. Tamara. Yeah, Tamara is the manager and she does day-to-day running.
Yeah.
I believe she's online maybe. Tamara? So
Tamara's
she can
not
confirm
in.
as well. Mhm.
Okay. And Mark, I think you had a question. Did you have a question earlier on, Mark?
Yeah, so Tamara had mentioned previously, whenever she was giving her update, that she had approached residents and they didn't have a problem with the noise emanating from the premises. I'm just curious to understand who were those residents. And I think Tamara raised the question about, did we come to the restaurant before to speak to them? But the restaurant never came to us as residents to speak about noise. So I'm just curious as to who the residents were and who approved it.
Yeah, we're not aware of any names with who Tamara spoke. To be honest, I hope and wish that she would be online now to respond to those questions.
Okay. And another question I had, Chair, if that's okay, would be another query to Tamara about the 2 hours of live music that she's booked, and she's never booked more than 2 hours, I think was what she said verbatim. I would strongly disagree with that. Either she's booked 2 hours and she's getting a massive discount on the other 7 rated hours that they're playing for them. But any Saturday or Sunday that I heard the music, the live music outdoor in the backyard started around 2 to 3 p.m. and went on until probably 10, half 10 in the evening. That was the number of weekends. So I dispute that point with Tamara.
Okay, Tamara, please, can you respond to those questions?
Chair, Tamara is not on the call at the moment.
Okay, I think, I don't know whether, what is advised? What shall we do? Shall we move on?
Chair, you've got to bear in mind that the actual applicant himself is actually still in attendance here on this meeting.
Well, I understand that, but he doesn't seem to be engaging with us. He said he has problem with the language.
So he has somebody there that is able to speak for him.
Well,
what he
yes.
doesn't have is his day-to-day manager here, but at the end of the day, he is the person that will be the overall license holder.
But in that case, I will ask him or the person he's with to respond. I'll give you a minute or so to respond, if otherwise we move on.
So what we know is what I remember now, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, so I know is a neighbor on the second floor. I don't remember the name of the gentleman. He come to us. He have a pizza and he's decorating his house, and he present with us and we present with him. And he's just like on the top of our garden, I believe. And he's quite happy with his wife and his daughter. They're quite happy with us. Obviously, we have the neighbor on the flat on the top of us. They always come to us and having pizza and having dinner, and they're happy with us. So now I don't know the name of those persons, so I'm so sorry about that. But I can just, I know where they live, but I don't know the name of those neighbors.
Okay. I think we leave it at that. Is there any more questions or clarifications before we move to ask people to sum up? No.
I would like ask, say sorry, my computer, I don't gonna use camera. Maybe I can keep the internet better. Really sorry. If I can answer something, I'm here.
Sorry, you to add something. Okay, okay. Is there a? Okay, carry on. What is it you want to say?
I just saw Dritan said about the neighbors. I don't know was about what, but like, what can I say about our neighbors? They came to us and they say, thank you. They asked for more times. I got a few neighbors organizing to celebrate the birthday about the kids at the restaurant to have pizza party, something like that. I don't know what was the point about some neighbors.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Can I move now? I will ask you to sum up. Can I ask the chair, the licensing authority officer, if she's still with us, to sum up? Is there anything you like to say in summing up?
Yes, thank you, Chair. The applicant, Mr. Hushi, was away on holiday straight after submitting his application to the council. Just like to point out, all representations received were directed to him as per details on his application. We would require the committee to consider the issue relating to the rear garden, and if it feels appropriate, setting times for the use, considering that one of the residents today has said the use even up until 9 p.m. with their young child's bedroom being at the back of the house would still adversely impact on them. If the licensing subcommittee is minded to grant this license, we would want the garden area to be severely restricted, and with the building control rep, we would like a revised plan to be submitted, as the current plan is not what the premises layout is. I would just like to point out one more thing, that Mr. Hushi has stated today that he is not aware of what is going on at his restaurant when he is not there. Being the license holder, this is of concern to us. As a license holder, we would want him to be responsible for all licensable activity at the premises. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Do you have anybody from the planning authority? I don't think we have, do we?
No, Chair, you do not.
Okay, in that case, can I ask, I think the objectors, if they want to sum up, and then I will move to the applicants to sum up. Mark, do you want to sum up? Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I mean, I can sum up from my perspective very quickly. So for us, it's against council licensing policy. It's going to affect the welfare of children all throughout the day. This is not about late at night or post 9 p.m. This is throughout the day when children are going to be in the garden. It's affecting the quality of life for residents in Holmesdale Road and Archway. The premises have demonstrated their inability to be considerate to their surrounding neighbours and not comply with licensing restrictions as per the council's statement on this call.
Sorry, Mark, can we just, sorry to stop you, but somebody has decided to share something.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to work out.
That is not, sorry, I don't know, can whoever is doing that please stop sharing that on the screen? That is the public notice that any applicant for a premises license is required to display at the premises. It is not notice of a grant of a license in any way, shape or form.
I think they probably, that's what they thought. Yeah, I think that's for them, yeah. Okay, sorry, carry on.
So the premises have demonstrated their inability to be considerate to their surrounding neighbours and not comply with licensing restrictions as per the guidance from the council on this call. And therefore, we would hope, as residents of Holmesdale Road with a small family, that this is taken into consideration and hopefully sense prevails with this licence not being granted.
Thank you. Can I ask Margaret, do you want to say anything else, summing up?
No, Mark has summed it up perfectly, and my issues remain the same, the issues around school children and the mental health. Thank you.
Thank you. And this, I can see Simon, is there anything you'd like to add or summing up?
I'd just like to second everything Mark said. He expressed it very clearly.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I will ask the applicant to sum up, please.
Can I ask, I just would like to say, like, I am in there for all the time, and I'm trying to do my best, and I'm gonna do more. Like I changed the music, I changed the type of music for long. I think the last month we changed the type of music as well. I'm trying to do everything. And I don't know who, but like came to our place to take a pictures, and then next time can come to our place and they can talk with me I'm available to hear and everything. And then, you can put the sound is too loud and put down. And we are available for everything. So I don't think the point is discussed about. We can continue the business, and then you can continue your life. That's
okay. Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes.
Sorry, do you want to ask Mr. Dritton as a prospective license holder if he wants to have anything to say?
Well, yes, he said. I do apologize. Because I assume because of the language he lives speaking to his friend. But I'll be very happy if you want to say anything.
Yes. I apologize for my English is not perfect. So
no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that at all.
When we buy this property, when we buy this license, we have a complaint from the neighbors saying somebody there sell shisha and smell weed and stuff like this. No, stuff we don't do in our business. So that one is something is not allowed. So we remove that completely. No, so I believe the previous people that are using shisha bar on the garden, they're using weed or stuff like this. So we don't do this kind of thing. We're trying to do our best to do the best for us and also for our neighbor. Obviously, in my opinion, it's like if we can. I hear before is a WhatsApp group now. If I can join this WhatsApp group, I'm gonna be happy to know directly from my neighbor when it's noise, when it's complaining, and I can myself call directly to the restaurant and to stop the music, so you don't need to wait for the council to come down and to do this. You can complain to the council always, but I'm saying to have the thing quicker, so we don't need to wait for council all the time to speak with me and to speak with you. So if you ask me something, I'm happy. So I like to have a good relationship with my neighbor. This is very important for me. Obviously, I think it's important for everybody to have a good neighbor around. So if this can be possible in future, I'm going to be very happy to enjoy on your WhatsApp group. And any concern, you can talk directly to me, and I'm going to be happy to talk with you guys and to try to sort out the issue straight away with no losing time, with no disturbing nobody family, disturbing nobody life. And I have a family too, so I have 3 kids, so I understand what you guys saying, and I understand you 100%. And I'm very peaceful if you guys join me in your group WhatsApp or our neighbors, so I can help our neighbor to be better.
Okay, thank you. And it's nothing wrong with your English, by the way, perfect. But you spoke very clear. Thank you very much. I'd like to. Sorry, is there anything else you want to add? No. Okay. Thank you all very much for coming tonight. Now I will ask you to leave us. The committee, we're going to have a discussion and make a decision, and you will have our decision in writing within 5 working days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.